All right, so this carpet is nasty and this sheet vinyl has got to go. So I'm gonna be replacing all of this with some LVP. The kicker is this is the first time I'm gonna be installing some LVP, so I'm sure to run into some issues, but I'm gonna show you how to resolve each and every one of those issues. So be sure to stay tuned and check it out. But before I could start installing new flooring, I needed to rip up all the carpet and prep the area. I started by moving all the furniture into the kitchen and found a bunch of toys in the process. Look at all this stuff. Alright, so judging by how much space the furniture has taken up in the kitchen area, I'm going to have to tackle this project in two halves. So I'm going to start here in the living room area, get the flooring ripped out, put the new flooring in, put the trim back in, move the furniture back into this space, move the kitchen table back into this space, work on the kitchen area, get all that good and shiny and great, and then move the table back into that space, and then we'll be done. All right, so first thing I gotta do is remove all of the base trim. One challenge, these door stoppers. So all you gotta do is twist these counterclockwise. They come out, and then you'll see a little Phillips screw head right there. Just back that out. There we go. So this is the tool that I picked up for pulling off the trim. So essentially, you just put this right between the trim and the wall, hit it down a little bit, and then you can kind of pry back on it like that, and it actually works really well. The only issue is this is a little bit wide. So in spots that are a little bit tighter, like over here, I've also picked up a couple smaller pry bars like this, and this works really nice in these tight spots. So let me show you. Couple little taps, and you can pull it back like that. I'll have this set as well as this linked down in the description box below, so if you're interested, be sure to click on those links and check them out. And also, all the pieces of trim that I've pulled off, I'm numbering as well, so I know exactly where they go when I go to reinstall them. So this is number 2, and I've also labeled the wall number 2 as well. Here we go. Look at this. This whole section will come right off. And take your time when pulling off the trim. Unless you're going to be replacing it with new stuff, you'll want to be careful not to damage it as best as possible. Just like that. When it came time to remove the carpet, I swapped in a fresh blade into my utility knife. This makes all the difference and will be so easy to cut through both the carpet and the padding beneath. I found that cutting it into 2-foot-ish wide strips and then rolling both the carpet and the pad up together worked the best. Then I used some packaging tape to keep the rolls together. Saves a little step if you can roll both of them up together. Whoop. So next thing, we got to take off all these tack strips along the wall, and the easiest way to do that is just get a pry bar and start prying up on it. But I found that the cleanest way to do it is prying up right by the big spikes first, and then you can kind of take the whole thing out at once. So let me show you. Once you get under that edge, then just kind of take your time. It'll be a lot cleaner just pulling this all out at once. Go down here. That way you're gonna have like a lot less wood chips and that to clean up at the end. So there we go, we got that one up. Now let's tackle the rest of them.
just find that knee pads are so uncomfortable. Unless I just got a crappy pair maybe. I don't know. What do you guys have? Let me know down below. Because I'd like to find a decent pair that's kind of comfortable, but maybe that's not a thing.
And all these little spots right here, that's where they stapled the carpet pad down, and the staples are just stuck in here. So a lot of the times they're small enough, you can just take a pry bar, run through it, and it's gonna pop them loose. Other times you might have to get a pliers, but let's just see what happens here. Just like that. These might just pop right off. Yep.
All right, this one did not want to come out, so pliers, easy as that.
All right, so in this spot by the front door, the carpet ran right up to the sheet vinyl, and they just attached it using some staples. So we'll have to pull those too. Once you have all the staples removed, take a vacuum to the floor and make sure to vacuum every square inch of the area. You don't want any debris or anything else telegraphing through your new flooring. All right, so even though I'm gonna be putting 1/4-inch sheathing over this entire area that was carpet, I still wanna get this floor, relatively flat. So there were a couple spots here where they dripped some plaster. So we're just gonna scrape that up. Should pop off there pretty easily. And then any other like discrepancies or any bumps or really any imperfections in the floor, try to get it pretty good. Like I said, even though I'm gonna be going over this with some 1/4-inch, I just wanna make sure that I'm starting at a pretty decent spot. Now it's time to put this 1/4-inch material over the top of everywhere that I removed the carpet. So let me show you again why that is. So right here where we had the sheet vinyl, I kind of pulled this back a little bit just to expose what was under it, but it's actually another, I think this is more of a 5mm instead of 1/4-inch, which is just slightly less than 1/4-inch. And then they put the sheet vinyl on top. And the nice part about that is once we slide this 1/4-inch up to it, just like that, then this is pretty much flush. I mean, it's about as flush as you're gonna get it. So what I did already on this edge is I just cut off this extra little overlap of sheet vinyl so that I could butt this 1/4-inch up to the rest of that. And yeah, then we should be good. So I'm gonna do that right here. I'm gonna just trim off that little section right here. And then I can start laying down all this 1/4-inch sheeting over the top of all this OSB. So let's get after it. This stuff cuts really easy, so just kind of find the edge of that underlayment and just follow it along. Just like that. If you don't get it right on the first time, just come back here. First piece is gonna start right along this wall. The way that I'm gonna attach this down is with some crown staples every 4 inches in both directions. From everything that I've looked up and read online and videos I've watched, that's how to do it. So I've got, I think they're 7/8 of an inch long, crown staples, 1/4-inch wide, every 4 inches in the center here, and then along the seams, about every 2 inches. And that should give us a nice subfloor. Every 4 inches is kind of a lot. It's a lot of staples, but I don't want it like bubbling up or anything, so. So let's check. Those are complete guesses. Looks like, all right, dang. First one I picked out, exactly 4 inches, so that's pretty awesome. Obviously, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's generally 4 inches by 4 inches. That's a lot of staples, but I know that this isn't going anywhere and there's not gonna be any bubbles or any like clicking when you step on it, so this thing is attached. Now, just like 9 more sheets of this. A little closer look. quite a few staples. And it was a lot of staples. I think I used 2,500 staples on this area. But at the end of the day, I'd rather use too many staples than not enough and have problems down the road. All right, kind of stitch that seam together every approximately 2 inches. All right, so I know I've got to cut essentially that little shape out of the plywood here. So let's figure that out. So I'm just gonna put a straight edge right up against this wall, and I can trace this out. Here, let me back up a little bit. Show you what I mean. All right, so I'm measuring off of the edge of this plywood just to keep it all nice and even. That's 7 inches right on the nose. So I'll come back here and mark 7 inches. All right, so that just measures how far down this point is off the wall. Now I gotta locate that point over here somehow. Which I think I'm gonna take measurement from this line, which is the corner of this wall, and find that point, which turns out also to be 7 inches. That should be my angle. Then I can connect these two and give me my flat edge. I think that looks right. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, but the less of a gap that we can get between here and the plywood, I think the better. So I'm gonna take that outside and cut that. All right, let's see how this fits. Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's right on. Cool. Let's staple this guy down. Woo! First try. All right, I think that's it for whole sheets of this 1/4 inch wood. Now we just gotta work our way around the perimeter and do some cut pieces. I'm going to line it up over here on this edge so that I can trace out my register. Okay, square's lined up right on the edge here. Just mark a line here. Same thing on this side. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but I'm gonna try to make it as good as we can. All right, and then we can see how far off the wall this register is. About 5 1/4. Connect those 2 marks that we just made. How wide is this? 2 inches. This leg of the square is 2 inches wide, so we can just trace that on this side. That should be our register cutout. I'm just gonna get an overall width so that I know how wide I need to rip this sheet down to. 24 on the 1/8 on that end. I'm gonna go 3/8 on this end. So 1/8, 3/8.
And with that, I'm ready for the next step, which is installation. I'll be showing you how to get the first few rows perfect so the whole install will look professionally done, and then we'll be finishing off with final punch list items like reinstalling the trim and any odds and ends. So be sure to check those videos out next. And as always, thanks for watching.